For those of you that may have hopped on, again, if you do have any questions, use the chat Q&A, raise your hand. This is for you. So this is where you guys get to ask the questions on how do I go about doing certain things. In the last sessions, we've gone through actually quite a bit. So the importance of logging our call, right? So a lot of the filters in your system is they're dynamic and they're all reflective of you logging your calls. And so it really takes a lot of the guesswork out of what you're doing. The system reproduces who you should be calling and when. So that's a big one when it comes to calling and logging those calls. One thing that I say, if it's not logged, it didn't happen. And then of course, leaving those notes when you do talk to somebody. So those notes, when we're talking to any specific lead, are really going to help you continue that relationship and carry on those conversations where you last left off. Now, a lot of what we do, so while I wait for you guys to ask a question, and again, it can be sporadic, it can be, whatever, it could be any topic. So don't worry about asking a question that's off a topic that I am talking about. Just ask the question and we'll jump into it. But a lot of what you guys have with your agent locator system is the automation aspect of things, right? So when you do have leads coming into your system, they're going to be automatically added to campaigns. So when you go into your leads here, I know this is someone that he just kind of manually, I think, created this lead. There is campaigns. So what you guys are going to see on your leads is typically, so for new individuals, and we kind of touched on this last time, new individuals, you're going to have the buyer campaign as well as the first-time buyer campaign. If somebody happens to, mark on the website form that they're a first-time buyer, or you mark them as a first-time buyer. Now, if you're in your system and you're on eCampaign, so this is just one way you can check, you should have campaigns in here. If for whatever reason you do not have campaigns in your system, or for example, you're looking at your tag list and it's very minimal, or your filters, there just really isn't any, contact our support team. We can add those in a moment. Like it's a click of a button essentially, and they all get installed into your system. So one way to check, what campaigns your lead is on is, of course, in this area right here. You're able to see kind of where they're at as far as the progress of that campaign. You can stop a campaign at any time. So if you just want the whole campaign to stop, you can definitely do that. And then, of course, you can assign a campaign. So if you don't have, so some of you may have a lot of the campaigns, the majority of them, but you're missing the first-time buyers campaign, you can just search first, like start typing it. If it's not populating in the list, then it's not in your system. Just reach out to support, ask them to add that campaign for you. And you can ask them to auto assign that campaign as well. So when you asking to auto assign, it says, I want it to assign whenever I add the tag first-time buyers. Because again, circling back to the website form that pops up, one of the questions is asking if they're a first-time buyer. So anyone that answers yes, that they are a first-time buyer, they would then automatically be put onto that first-time buyers campaign, which is essentially a series of educational video or emails rather, and there is a couple text follow-ups, and they're just respective to those the emails that were sent. So Nicole is asking, are we able to explain how to reply to text through your phone instead of having to log in to explain? Yes. So Nicole, one thing, and your fastest and easiest way to do this is to download the app for the CRM system. Okay, so if you don't already or haven't already done that, then I suggest just go onto the App Store. It doesn't matter if it's Google. It doesn't matter if it's in or Apple. Just search Agent Locator CRM, just like Agent Locator CRM. So that there, when you download the app, is going to simplify a lot of things. Okay, so when you download the app, the login details are the same as your CRM system. And when you log into the app, you can actually set your preferences. So my preferences in the app is going to be that I am using the CRM always. Okay, meaning if I'm calling a lead or I'm texting a lead, I'm always doing it through my number, my Twilio number. Now you can have it to prompt you if you want it to prompt you, if you want to use your Twilio number or you want to use your cell phone. Same goes for the emails as well. But once you have that app, it will essentially, you'll get the push notifications. You can click to call a lead right from the app. You can respond to the text messages, of course, right from the app. And all your filters, everything's in there. You'll see any task, inbound communications, all of that stuff. So if you haven't done it that way, then by all means, that's going to be your fastest and easiest way to correspond with your leads that are sending you text messages. Now, when you have, and I'm just going to show you my soft phone here, just so that you guys can kind of see here. So this is a soft phone. This is me replicating your cell phone, okay? So when I get a text message in here, these here are all, this is my Twilio number, okay? So when you get a text from a lead, the inbound text actually comes from your Twilio number. Now, when we see here, we're having all the leads. You can see my responses here, right? You can only see the leads responses. Now that's because I haven't replied through here, first and foremost, but you're seeing it's very tandem, all the leads replying to me. Now, if you get a text message from Twilio, let's say Behar's here, he sent me the text message and I got it right away. I can reply right to this text. I can say, okay, thank you. And Behar is going to get this because the system is recognizing, and Twilio is recognizing, well, this person just sent you a message. Obviously, your response is intended for that person. Now, if you're looking to respond, let's say I want to respond to Tusa says, she is not the last person that sent me a text message, but I want to send her a message. We're going to treat her lead ID as her phone number in essence here, but we're going to just put the number sign in front of that. So kind of like a hashtag in front of that. And then you put that number. So 1668093. You would leave a space and then you would write your message after that. What this does is it's telling Twilio to take the message and route it to this specific lead ID. Okay, so that's the lead ID. Where you're going to see a connection is this ID right here, and I'll just kind of go back, will be the exact same when you have that lead open in your dashboard as the ID you see right here. So it's telling Twilio, take this message and send it to this lead ID in the system. So that's another way if you're doing it from your cell phone. So hashtag, keep that number. And if you want to play it safe all the time and just do the hashtag and that ID before message, then by all means do it. But your fastest, easiest, quickest method is to download the app for the CRM system because you're going to be able to do all of that. Click with a button, you get the push notifications and so on through that. So hopefully that helps you out there. So Daniel is asking, please show me where the bots are. So the bots are on your lead. So the bots are engaged in your system and they engage based off of a lead replying to you. Okay, now, when we go in here, you can, let's see if there's any on the homepage. There's not. So you can filter out. So you can, filter out. So customer care bot. Okay, so there's that. So we can do customer bot is engaged, has been engaged, has never been engaged. So I'll do this one because I don't know if anyone's recently been engaged. So there's 4 people here that have been engaged. Another thing that happens is as these bots are engaging, there is tags, right? So tags are automatically getting added to your lead depending on how that conversation with the bot is actually going. So if we open up, and this person had 8 text messages with this individual, we can go into the SMS. The bot you can see is responding whenever there's a little bot face. And this goes for the app as well. So if you guys are using the app for the CRM, you are able to see this little bot head. You're able to indicate and clearly see that this is a bot message. Now the bot is in this case is not active. The bot has been turned off. So this is something for you to also pay attention to because at some point in this conversation, you're likely going to want to take over the conversation. So when that happens, you're going to want to make sure you toggle the bot off. this will make sure that when you now step in and send a text message to the lead and the lead replies back, that the bot's not going to respond on your behalf. You're now able to respond on your behalf. So you can see here, this one's a bot. And then this one here, for example, there is no bot. The bot was turned off at this point. And again, you can do that through the app. But you're also getting these notifications. So as the bot is engaging with these leads, these little engagement or interested are in here. So the interested ones are more or less the ones that have, indicated just based on their answer that they're actually engaging. They didn't just respond once, they're kind of engaging with that lead, and you may want to step in. So the tag filter, so when you filter through tag, and you can do has any. If you're only selecting one, you can do has all. If you're going to select if you want them to make sure they have one or the other, then you would do any. So if we just search for the AI bot, we can see, right? So bot engage, interested, follow up, not interested. So let's just go anyone that has the AI bot interested, and we'll apply that one. So there's the 4. So these are the original 4 people that we originally had on there. These are all the ones that indicated that they were interested. Now, when we go into the AI bot again, let's do the one that needs a follow-up and see if there's anyone in here that needs those follow-ups. So there's one person in here that indicated that this person needs a follow-up. And again, they're likely going to have all the bot tags on them because it goes through various aspects, or at least 3 of them. They may not have the not interested and the engaged interested, but it's going to go through the various steps as this lead is replying, right? So we can see here that there's a lot of conversation with this individual in here. So here we can go through, those are the normal ones. Yes, that's thanks. And then this is the bot, again, trying to engage, or we're just looking for curiosity, or they plan on making a move. The person responds, right? So there, bot keeps replying. And really what it's doing is just getting people to respond and reply with a lot of just the basics about their, their search, their motivation, what they're looking for, that sort of thing, right? So we can see here that this person is full on engaged with this bot. And then the bot is kind of going there, asking if they've been pre-qualified. And then again, we'll get the lender to help you out. So again, this is just an example of a bot where the bot is essentially, lining everything up. And then here it is, like kind of there, we'd like to work with you, found several areas, with like we can spend a phone appointment for you, right? So, and then person responds, okay. So you're getting notified as this happens. Now, in a lot of cases, the bot can actually manage to pull out more information from a lead than sometimes the average person working their leads can. Sometimes not, of course. It really depends on the person on the other end and how they're engaging with those questions. Most of the time, people are not in any way, shape, aware that they are not talking to a human at this point. So this is just a good example. Now, all of you that are on our 179 package should have 5 conversations included. Okay, so what that means is it's not 5 times a day or whatever it is. So the first 5 people that have never communicated with the bot previously, so your first 5 leads that reply back to the bot that have never previously replied to the bot, they're included, right? So those are covered within your 179. Doesn't matter how old the lead is. Existing conversations that carry into the next month do not count as part of those 5. Those are already previous conversations. So you get 5 included. Now, if some of you really enjoy the bot because you are very busy, you don't necessarily have the time to sit and text and follow up the leads as swiftly and quickly as you would like to. So a lot of individuals do rely on the bot to kind of pick up those pieces and be responsive when they're not able to. Some people prefer not to have the bot. It's really, really a preference thing. If you decide you don't want the bot, we can turn the bot off. If you decide that you want the bot to have and take on more conversations for you, you can do that up here in your administration tab. So you do have your bot settings here. So your bot settings will let you know how many you have, right? So, and how much that costs you in a month. So you can change your subscription times at any time. You also have the ability, so in here, anyone within your account. So some of you may have a team of agents that are working the leads. They're users in your system. So you can select, who you want in the system to have the bot acting on behalf of them. And then again, if you have somebody in your team that doesn't want the bot acting on behalf of them, we can always just disengage that bot there and then save it, right? Save those changes. You can turn those bots off there. Nancy is saying, can we get the bot to stop saying gotcha? Nancy, 100% email that to our support team. The support teams will connect. So the bot is actually a third party. So we subscribe to another platform that we've worked with to get this bot in here. So they are the ones that are actually kind of fully in control of their program and their bot, so to speak, but in connection with our system. So if we make that request in, they can very well. I'm not sure if they can adjust it just for specific accounts or just ours is like an entire account, but it is a different company. So 100% just email our support team and just see if there's that way that we can make that request that maybe we're just saying, something a little bit more formal than gotcha, right? And perhaps some examples of what you'd prefer or would suggest as being, a little bit more appropriate in your opinion with respect to that. So with that being said, with the bot, just so you guys are aware, there's humans monitoring, okay? So with this other company, there are humans monitoring the conversation, making sure everything's moving, right? Because the bot can get stuck. And the only time it really gets stuck is the response. The bot will respond with various responses based on keywords that are coming through. So it's picking up on keywords and keyword phrases as to what this person is saying, as to what response to give. Now, if somebody responds with a paragraph and they're talking about, this is going to be our first time we're looking to, and they're giving too much information all over the place in that text, that gets monitored because the bot's not going to reply. It's going to sit there, not really knowing what to do, but they're alerted on their end. And there is a human that actually steps in to kind of decipher what is being said so that the appropriate message can get pushed through. So there is always people monitoring, but again, yes, any requests with respect to the bot and the language verbiage, just shoot them over to support and we'll do our best to contact that other company to help them. So Parmesan says you've just got a 0 increase subscription plan, conversations remaining for this month. So you may not, because I'm saying that about message, but can you please elaborate on how I get that result? So what I feel, so again, that would be likely with your subscription. I'm just going to see if I can quickly pull up your account here just to see if you have the 5, making sure that is already enabled on yours. So yes, so yours is likely what's happened. You've already utilized your 5 conversations this month. So if you want to change your subscription settings, so you increase those, you just change the subscription plan. So you can, so this one for the people on 179 is included, and you can change your subscription plans. Okay, so if you want to increase it to 20 conversations, then you would bump it up to the $50 a month one, where you now have 20 leads a month if they're responsive. So it's really determining how many you may be over or seeing how many people have replied to those leads. Or how many leads have replied to the bot, I should say, in any given month with that. So, and your best way to find those people, again, is the tag, right? So the tag has, and then even the AI bot, or the bot filter for is engaged, right? so that sort of thing. And you'll be able to see the time frame as well. So you can stack filters, see when that was. But what I'm guessing is you have a database that is responsive and are engaging with the bot, which is great. But now you've used it all up. We're 21 days into the month. So 5 of your leads in the last 21 days. Yes. So Permji is asking, one conversation is one lead or one message? So one conversation is one conversation, and that conversation is going to be 100 messages, right? But you get one like that. So that conversation. So now that this person has a conversation on them, if Ahmed replies back next month to, sends a text message and the bot replies, that's still a previous conversation. That's not included in your 5 per month. That's already been accounted for in a previous month. So it's only the newly initiated conversations. Anything existing, and again, the conversations can go as far as, 1 or 2 text messages and kind of like stop, and the bot does try to engage down the road. Or it could go on for a series of like 25 text messages, right? So it's per engagement, really. So each 5 engagements, new engagements, not existing engagements in any kind of month there. So hopefully that answers some questions with respect to your AI bot, and how you can, look for that, turn it off, increase it, and also find the people that have been engaged. And you should be, as you're getting the notifications with respect to the tags, the bot engaging, you should be getting email notifications with respect to that as well. But it does actually, it does help. I know a lot of people that do really, appreciate the bot, because it does grab a lot of details. I see a lot of individuals that what they do is they want to be in control. So right away they turn the bot off, and then they totally drop the ball themselves. They stop engaging with the lead. They stop being responding to the text or sending a text or whatever it is. And they should have let the bot, continue going if they weren't going to actually keep that conversation steady. Because they could have potentially got more information out of that individual had they not done that. So those are the bots. So communicating the bot, that sort of thing, you guys. Now, for who wasn't aware, you do have that app for your CRM system. Play around with it. I believe we have tutorials somewhere on if you need assistance. It's pretty straightforward on there, but it's like any app we get on our phone. You just kind of click around and see what this does, see what that does, and what you're able to access and what have you. But you can do a lot as far as your data, like your lead management when it comes to calling, and of course texting, emailing, that sort of thing with your leads. Now, one thing that we kind of touched base on last time, and while I wait to see if there's any more questions that you guys do pop through, is mass actions. All right, so mass actions is a great way to conquer, a specific task to multiple individuals all at the same time. So you can do your mass actions up here, right? So all your apply actions, these are intended for mass actions that you can select an entire database or handpick, certain individuals. You can use your filters to find out who these individuals are. Some of you in your system as well will actually have, I wonder if it's in here. You have an email only, maybe not in this one. So some of you will have an email only filter that's in your system. So an email only filter are people that you can only email. Basically, their email is indicating that it's unknown or valid, but their phone validity is either, oh, sorry, I needed that. Their phone validity is basically invalid or do not call. So this list right here, when I add it, there's 36 people in here that my only course of communication is emailing them. Okay, so you, majority of you, and if you don't, again, it's a simple filter where the email validity is we want it, so we know it's valid or we just don't know yet. And the phone validity is indicating that it's invalid or do not call, right? So we can only email these people. And you can, of course, save this filter. So this is a great, so remembering that these people, some of them may be trying to look at listings, but we're marking their numbers as invalid. So the system is blocking them. these people here, you can, for example, if you haven't already, you can throw them on a campaign. So there is the bad number campaign, right? So if you wanted to assign, if you pull this up and you have several people in here and you haven't already added the campaign to them, you can take these individuals and mass assign a campaign. So I know I can only, reach out to these people by email. So I'm going to assign them to a bad number campaign. Now this here is a series of emails that essentially go out requesting, oops, we got something wrong. We need a good number to access listings. But it also, tries to get that person even just to reply to the email. So it can work. So it does work with some individuals. Of course, not everyone is responsive, but it's your second attempt, another alternative to trying to get this person to respond to and or provide you with a valid phone number at the very least. So you would just select that and go done, and it would assign this campaign to all those leads. So again, when you're doing any mass action, you have the ability to kind of select the column. I can, like, for example, I'm just going to just select all. So I can select the column. So there's 10 of them. I can hand pick and select individuals when I'm doing anything. And of course, I can always select all of the individuals in the list at any given time when you are, performing a mass action. Now, another thing that, a lot of individuals do is, of course, mass emailing. So I'm going to send it to 10 people. I'm going to send it to all of these people. But what is suggested beforehand is you do create your email template first. You don't have to, of course. You can definitely build it on the spot, but that would just require that you are familiar with the short codes. And can type them out without needing the drag and drop feature that you gain when you're building a template. Okay. So I'm going to just select a couple people, so I know that it just goes to me, essentially. So I'll do these two. Okay. So when you're sending the mass email, we are then going to, again, we're selecting a template, right? We can select the template here. We can, when you're sending this, so this is more of an admin feature, or if you're team lead and you want to blast the entire database, but you want those emails to come as if it's coming from the person that's assigned to that lead. So whoever that main agent is, then you can use the main agent so it sends it on behalf of that specific person. So when you guys are often getting a blast, let's say from AgentLocator, and it's coming from your sales rep, or it's coming from your trainer, it's coming from whoever, not just AgentLocator, we're using this feature where we're using the main agent is the one that is, it's coming across as they're the ones communicating with you. Okay, so that's something that just to make you aware of. And then you have your template. So once you have your templates, you can put them in here. This is just one that I had a gift template, but you can definitely put your email together. GIFs are a great way to encourage clicks, things that are like moving. Bomb videos, for one, those are GIFs. When they're sending in the video, it looks like it's a video. There's no sound though. So encouraging somebody to click on it, right? Click here. So you can definitely get creative with your mass communications. To encourage, but again, you can type out your stuff here. You would just need to know what your short codes are, and really there's just a couple that you need to know. For the most part, if it's just a generic, like the first name short code, things like that. But you can add images, you can add tables, you can do formatting, all of that fun stuff. Now, whenever you go to send a mass action, you do also have the ability to send a test email to yourself. Okay, so the test email just allows you to see and make sure that it is presented the way that you anticipate it to look on the receiving end, from desktop to mobile, etc. So you always have that option before you blast your audience. I am then going to just send this out so that I get it. And then we can watch and kind of look at how you look at the results of your mass actions as well, right? So we want to be able to look at that. So I'm just going in here and clicking. Okay. So now that I've done that, I've done a little bit of an action here. Over here in the flag is your overview section. Okay, so this is where it's tracking a lot of different things when it comes to communication. Now, the mass email is what we're looking for. So when we go into the mass email, you can choose by time frame as to what you're looking for, and then you're going to be able to see. Now, also, if you used any filters to pull up this database or this list of individuals, you can actually pull that list by, see what filters you actually use for that audience by using this little icon right here. As we scroll down, obviously that's a lot of footer, test email there. You do have the summary, right? So we can see that it's executed, 2 of 2, it's completed. When we go into the summary, it's going to let us know the results of that mass action. So we're going to be able to see how many it delivered to, and or if people actually opened it. So I did open it, of course, and then I clicked on it, right? So you'll see delivered, open, clicked, opt out, invalid email. Okay, so those are the ones you'll see. When you click on the, who clicked it, you can actually, it'll pull it up who actually clicked on it. It's going to give you all the people that engaged in that email to the, the point of actually clicking on that email. So that's just something for you guys when you are doing that. And this kind of brings you into the email overview. Okay, so again, that is over here in the email overview. So if you are sending mass actions or you want to look, you have a filter for email activity that you can, open, clicked on the last X amount of days. Here it just kind of brings you. So if you wanted to look and dig down a little bit deeper, that sort of thing, you have that ability to do that in here. So even if you go in the last 3 months, apply the filters, it's showing 805 individuals in here. So it's telling me all the results because I haven't indicated as to whether I want to click, but these are all the emails that have gone out. If I want to do the clicked aspect, I can apply that filter, and it will tell me then how many people have clicked on those emails that are going out. Okay, so that's just something to be aware of that exists. A lot of people don't know that even exists. So Parmji is just asking if I can go again to find the overview of the mass email. Yes, so you're going over to the flag here, then you're going to mass email. Okay, so once you're in mass email, you select the time frame. So if you sent it today or yesterday, you can filter it out. You can do custom. You can do all of them. So if I want to pull up all my mass emails that have ever gone out, there's 11 of them over time. Okay. And then at the bottom, so you just keep scrolling. This just has a really long footer or signature just through edits and all that fun stuff. But there's the summary. Okay, so when I go to the summary, I'm able to see how many people opened, how many people clicked, right? And then when I go to this summary, it's old, so it's actually quite old. So it probably doesn't have that summary, that history anymore. But then when we open or click on it, it's going to show us 2 of the leads actually performed that action. Okay. If it's important to know, I want to see who actually clicked on this email because whatever the email was about, right? How many people I engaged with this communication, nonetheless. So that's one thing. Now, as we're into the, the max, so kind of going into the flag, but mass actions as well, you do have the ability, of course, to send out mass tags or text. Text is the right word. I'm like mass text. So when you're doing a mass text, you could do it completely opposite of this, right? You could switch this to say phone validity is either valid or unknown and email is invalid. These are people I can only communicate with through phoning them or texting them, okay? Now, when we're doing any kind of mass text, one thing to consider, and I have made this mistake myself, is a task to send is fast and easy, especially when you're doing it in mass action. Make sure you account for people actually replying to those text messages because those aren't always fast and easy depending on how many people are responsive. So it's not encouraged that you're like, okay, I'm falling behind. It's going to send a text message to all these people because I got to run. Don't do that because people will reply to your text messages and you'll be stuck at your desk, being responsive to those individuals, of course, right? So always make sure you give it time to allocate for the responses. Now, another thing that you're going to want to pay attention to, and the system does warn you, is when you are sending a mass text message, you want to keep it to under 200 people or less at a time. This isn't the restriction from our system. This is actually I believe it's the CDRSC. They control and monitor the channels, right? So anything 200 or less stays below the radar. Anything above that gets flagged as possible spam. Okay, so you want to make sure that when you are doing things, you're keeping it below the radar. And even then, 200 people at once is a lot because, again, those responses are going to come in, right? So you want to be able to give yourself adequate time to be able to be responsive to these individuals. Now, another thing that is just going to be notable for you guys when you are sending mass action. So whether it's a text message or it's an email, the more catered to that person that communication is, the better the result you're going to have. In other words, utilize your tags, right? So maybe you're sending out a mass email and it's for first-time buyers, let's say. You're not going to want to send it to everyone in your database that perhaps isn't a first-time buyer because that has nothing to do with them. They're not interested in that material, so they're just not even going to engage in it. So that's just one example, right? Or if you're sending investment stuff to people that aren't investors or pre-con stuff to people that aren't looking for pre-construction, right? They're not engaging. So being a little bit more directed with our communications will offer you a higher open and engaged rate with those communications. Now, one thing that you can do, and we touched on this last time, is using your tags, right? So filter your leads through tags, things like that. You can do it through the type of lead. You know these people are sellers, or you know these people are buyers, or we know they have a tag homeowner. So various things like that to narrow down your audiences a little bit. When you are sending a mass email, even if you're using a completely different, you're not using this, you're just got a specific filter and you've got a specific audience in front of you, I would always just include the email as being unknown and valid because you don't want the system. So the system with your package as is, you have 10,000 emails included as far as mass actioning goes. Okay, so mass action is 10,000. Some of you have significant significant databases. So let's say you had 5,000 leads in the system. If I just sent all of this mass email to all 5,000, there's a good, chance that there's a bunch of people in there that have bad emails. The system at the time you're trying to send it is going to account for those bad emails as being included in your 10,000, which of course they're not. When all the calculating is done, they're not included. It's just that the calculation at this point, it's going to calculate them in. If that happens to you, what you're going to see is you're going to go try to send a mass email, and the system's going to block you saying you have used up all your 10,000. When in fact you haven't, we just haven't excluded all those people that have bad emails that we're not trying to attempt to communicate with through the mass email. If that makes sense. This happens to some, not many, but just pointing it out. If it happens to you, then that's something, again, that could always be addressed at that time in there. Now, I think there's no questions in here. All right, so just the mass actions, with respect to that. So Nicole is asking, are you able to view the campaign content prior to sending out? Well, yes, you can. The campaigns are all in your system. Now, prior to sending out, you can if you control, but that's going to require you being very, very, very hands-on with your system and responsive right away. However, you can see before there, at any given time in your campaign section. So you just go to your campaign template editor section here, and you're going to be able to see all the campaigns in your system. So there's going to be extra ones in here. Again, this is a training one. The ones that are being auto-assigned to your leads, okay, meaning that when their leads are coming in, these campaigns are being triggered, you'll see right here. Okay, so we can see auto-assign. Yours is going to be, for the most part, is a new buyer campaign with or without sold. Okay, so that's one of them. Usually they're the ones at the very top. I'm throwing that out there on the first page. You will have, some of you will automatically already have the first time buyer campaign. That one's being assigned automatically by tag. You will have the sellers version 2 or option 2. That'll be automatically assigned to seller leads. And then there's a rental one as well. So there's a rental campaign that's automatically assigned to anyone that comes in as a rental lead if your site actually has rentals on it, depending on what board you guys are from. Now, any of these, you can see what's included in the campaign. This one only has one. So let's just do this one here. You just click the edit option. Then you're able to see all the actions in that campaign and how they're going and how they're spread out. Now, at any time, you can edit this, right? So you can change it. So let's say we want to change this email, right? So we can go in here and you can go in, you can make your edit. Okay, so you can go ahead and do all those things to make edits right from the campaign. Okay, so we now actually have a text editor in here as well, which allows you, which is a significant help, trust me, if you've ever done this. For me, this is a big changer, is to be able to edit that email right here, add images, things like that. Because if this actually previous had a picture in here, I would have to go back to the template, edit the template, then put the template back in. Okay, so this is saving time for a lot of people, I can only imagine. So you now have the ability to add hyperlinks, change things right in here. Just take note and do attention that these are short codes, okay? And they have to be presented as is. Now, you will see this little icon here when you're doing it. My screen is zoomed, so let me zoom out a little bit. But you're able to see the different ones, right? So you can start typing. So this here is, you know, when you click on it, it's going to pull it over. The short codes are right there in here if you are building it out from here. But again, if you're building out a campaign, hands down, do it through the templates first and then do it here. I just find it so much easier. And then plus you may want to send this as a one-off email at some point, right? Not just always have it as part of a campaign. But you can go ahead, you can make all your edits in there. You can switch that template. Any of these that are going out, you also, so the delay period is kind of the frequency of how far apart they are from each other. Okay, so like this campaign, for example, just to kind of show you, the campaign launches on the lead. 5 minutes later, this text message goes out. Okay, discard. So 5 minutes later, this text message goes out. Okay, then after this text message goes out, 1 minute later, this text message or this email goes out. Then this is just an example. So this is not happening in your system that we're sending 2 emails 1 minute apart. Then 1 minute after that, another email goes out, right? Then 4 days after that email, another email goes out, right? So it just kind of shows you. So this is the time part. Now, if you ever wanted to, so let's say we would take this cash is king, and I want this to actually go 10 days after this one, not just 6 days. Then down here, you have the delay period. So if I change that to 10 days, then I can update it and it'll update that action to be 10 days after this one, if that makes sense to you. You can also add an action in between by clicking on the plus sign, and you can add an action in between if you wanted to do that. You also, of course, at the bottom can add and continue to build on this campaign. So if we wanted to continue to add onto this campaign, we can click this plus sign and add onto the campaign. Or as you can see here, we assigned this one to a different campaign at the end, right? So in your system, so you guys, if you do have this CRM training course on AdSemi, some like this campaign stuff is in there. One of the new updates that we have, and I'll just zoom out again, is, and zoom out again, and zoom out again. I got too many things on this one. You have this little cap, the bottom far left, right? It's flashing at you because there's courses in there. This is actually bringing you to the courses we offer currently on AdSemi, so just a couple of them. The basic CRM training on there, and then of course the lead conversion. Now these, just if any of you guys haven't watched these and or in the middle of watching and going through these you have to watch all the videos, okay? So that's what they're based off of. The CRM training one is actually the quickest. It's all how-tos. They're like 30 seconds to like 4 or 5 minutes at most each video because they're just little tutorials. That's the fast one, but you have to watch the videos in order to open up the next module or the next section. If you fast forward through a video, it won't let you. The system is tracking how long you're on that video to make sure that you're watching the next one. So that's just something to point out. But that brings you into there. If anyone wants to, lead conversion is about talking to your leads, things like that. And if any of you guys are new to Agent Locator on our guarantee program, you have to finish both of those before you get invited to your one-on-one, essentially, because then you're practicing everything that is taught to you in those videos. And then we start to kind of look back to kind of point out just various things and guide you based on what you've already learned and maybe overlooking things like that. Now, another source of tutorials is found through this heart. Okay, so when you click on this heart, so this heart will flash at you guys when we do have updates. So similar to how that cap is. So there was one last week. So it was flashing, so it's there. When it brings you, it's actually bringing you into our training site. Okay, when you navigate over to the home page down below, there's also some courses. So this is more how-tos, like broken into categories. So there's a full section on campaigns. For example, in there, there is like a section on mass actions, administrative tools, all of that's all in there. You also have the one for your website editor as well in here that you may find useful as well. So just pointing those things out to you. And another resource for you I'm just going to close this out, is this question mark. Let me just zoom back in again. This question mark in the top right-hand corner. So this question mark will expand with tutorials reflective of where you're currently positioned in the system. Okay, so right now I'm in the campaigns section. So these tutorials are reflective of campaigns and things that you can action from here, right? Or to do with campaigns. So naturally, as we navigate over, so let's say you wanted to start building email campaigns, and so you go to the email section, or sorry, email templates for your campaigns, whatever it might be. You can go here, and now all the tutorials are reflective of every aspect within this section of the CRM. Okay, so all the kind of down how to. So Hassan, yes, well, you sign up. You just create an account on there. When you click on, he's asking about the training, and you click on the CRM or the leads. Yes, you just sign up. You create your login details in there, and you sign up to each one of those, and it goes into your profile. And then it tracks your progress as well. So when you log in every time, it'll do that. So Nancy's asking, can I hire someone to do all of this from Agent Locator? I'm not sure all of what from Agent Locator. There's a lot you can do from Agent Locator, but it just really depends on what you're looking for, or if you need to hire yourself as an assistant to do all this. So I'm not sure what you're looking for somebody to do for you. If you have everything's in your system. So campaigns, everything is there. Campaigns, everything is in there. The only thing that you might want to do is update your email signature and be responsive to leads. Everything is already set up for you. Okay, so unless you're like, in the past, but even then, you can just reach out to support. And I'll look at your account quickly just to kind of see. I think CIEI. And just seeing your account in here. Yes, you have a lot of these things. They're in your system already. But always you could reach out to support with respect to any of this. And then, you could always figure out with like a session or training session, because I see you're back from 2018, actually. So yeah, a lot of this stuff is already in your system. It could be on like older previous setups, things like that. So yes, by all means, just reach out to support, and we can always take a look to see and make sure that your account is currently up to date as to, the campaign, things like that. But most of the stuff is in there. So Parmiji's asking is, can these training videos be accessed through the app? That is a good question. I don't believe that they are, but once you sign up onto those programs, it's actually through a different website. So it's through Adsdemi. So once you create it, so once you signed up for the courses, it's just a web browser, like a website you're going to open up the courses. So you could always just bookmark that on your phone or what have you. But I don't believe, and I'm just going to check myself and open up this app, if that is actually an option. But I have a feeling it is not yet anyway through the app. Yeah, I do not believe that it is an option in there. But yeah, it is just a website. So when you're, no, it's not the same one. So when you do click on the Ads Demi, or in these courses here, it brings you to a website, right? So even this is the URL of that website. So then you can just register for that program, right? We have not registered for you. Most of you, if you're brand new or new since, I'm going to say February, March, you would already have an account on here. The account, and if you don't remember your password, you can reach out to support because we can easily just resend you the password reset. There might even have it on here. The email that would have been used to set up your account is the email that you originally signed up with us with, right? So for example, if I'm looking at like Nancy's account right now, if we set this up for her, it would be her info at, and then her domain name.com, because that's what she used with us. So we're using that initial email. So if you're trying to sign up, you would have, and in the beginning as well, when you first signed up with AgentLocator, you would have got 3 emails. One email for each of these courses, and another one that was a password reset email for you to set your password. So you can look for those like way back if you didn't delete them, or just reach out to support. We'll be able to find you in the system and then be able to send you the password reset. You can sign up with another email. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. It won't connect to any previous activities. So if you were previously in here, let's say back in March or April, and did some work, but now you can't remember what email you used to create another account, any of the viewing history that you have is kind of gone on the new account. We could definitely like kind of mark certain things as being done, but it doesn't, obviously the system doesn't know that you're the same person because you're putting in two different email addresses. But yeah, anyone has access to this. It is the browser. You can open this up on the go and watch the video content, while you're waiting for whatever it might be that you're waiting for. Yeah, so just so you guys are all aware. And that's there. And any troubles with Ads Demi, again, the biggest one is some people can't get past the next one. There's often a video in there that you overlooked. It happens by mistake. You're scrolling through because sometimes there's like 4 videos and you watch 3 of them, not realizing there's a 4th one. And then it's like not letting you open up, and you're like, why is it not letting me go past? Again, we can always look at that. We can always push people along if that's the case as well. And a side note, your playback speed has an effect as well. So if you're one to turn your speed up to watch the videos faster, again, the Ads Demi, the way that their platform works is based on the time you're spent on that video, right? So if you're speeding up playback, you're not on that video for as long, so it doesn't register that you've watched the entire video. It can be a nuisance, but yeah, if you have any issues whatsoever, just reach out to us. We definitely don't want it to be a nuisance, and as easy as possible for you guys to navigate through. So those are, and I go, okay, let's see with respect to any new questions in here. I've seen many email senders change their headers as often as can be. Can I change each time in accordance to the subject of the email? If yes, can you please share the style? Like, yeah. So yes and no, because you have your email header here. Okay, so unless you're going to temporarily change it and then change it back. So if you're sending out a blast, put your header in, save it, and then send out the blast and change it back. That's the only way that you could essentially do that, because there's only one header spot that you can do that. Now, where you can create different email signatures, versus header is basically based on a campaign. So you could have a different email signature based on different campaign sources, right? So these are the sources really that have come through. So let's say for my Facebook source, I want this specific email signature instead. So you can do that, but not for the headers, unfortunately. You'd have to do it each time. The email header size is going to be in that tutorial there. I can never remember what the exact size is because I don't do it as often as to do it, but it is in the tutorial. So in the tutorial in this section, again, with the email header, it actually could be in the article. Let's see if, no, this page does not exist anymore. It's not in that tutorial, but it will be in this video content when I did create it. Most of you do just edit your email, your main email signature. This just goes out on all the communications unless you specified otherwise. And then again, if you have a day-to-day email that you use or tend to use, you can simply just copy it over. Yeah, so that's the same. So basically all the div containers, everything like that would essentially carry over. And again, like anything, you're gonna hyperlink everything as you see fit and kind of go from there. I have different hyperlinks everywhere. But maybe getting them to use the app, stuff like that, encouraging that sort of use through your email signatures, and so on. Was there, I think that I got all the questions. Was there anything else that anyone had in here? Just trying to make sure I didn't look anything. Yes, we got Nancy's questions. All right, perfect. So as you guys think of things, we run these every Monday again, and they're all just based on your guys' requests and needs. So they are often all over the place, but you know, I find that often most people find some level of value. I'm in learning something that they weren't fully aware of. And again, if there's any how-tos or questions in between, just reach out to our support team. And Hassan, I will try to give you a call at my earliest opportunity. But thank you everyone for taking part in today. I love when you guys all ask questions. It makes this a little bit more rewarding for myself and easier to talk about things, that's for sure. But anything else, we'll be back on Monday or reach out to support and we'll help you in any way we can. Thanks everyone. We'll see you next week.